Hi, this is Ray from Honeytop Bees. This is Cheddar. Hey, I'm here for one thing today. I want to try to talk you out of becoming a beekeeper in 2025.
Coming up.
As high as 80% of people that get started in beekeeping quit. I don't want you to be part of the statistic. Let me explain what I'm talking about. I've been a pastor for 35 years. I had one of my professors in Bible school tell me, if I can talk you out of becoming a minister, then it's probably not the best profession for you to be in. And he proceeded to tell me all the reasons why we shouldn't go into ministry, why we as Bible school students shouldn't go into the ministry. I look back on that moment and I realize he wasn't wrong. He was right. There's a lot of ups and downs with that. But I'm not here to talk about ministry today. I'm here to talk about keeping bees. My name is Ray. I've kept bees in New England. I keep bees now in South Carolina. I teach beekeeping classes. I'm part of the University of Florida Master Beekeeper Program. And I want to talk to you today about reasons why you should not become a beekeeper. Because if I can talk you out of becoming a beekeeper, then maybe it's not the right thing for you. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I actually, in my heart, really would love for you to enjoy beekeeping as much as I enjoy beekeeping. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of benefits to it. There's a lot of joy in the hobby. Most of the joy is in the journey, and it's in learning, and it's in discovering. But if I can talk you out of it, then maybe it's not the right thing for you. So let me do my best to try to talk you out of becoming a beekeeper in 2025. And if I can do it, then maybe I'll save you a lot of heartache. But if I can't do it, then maybe you're cut out for this exciting and fun hobby. The statistics show us that as high as 80% of people that get started in beekeeping quit by year number 2 or year number 3. That's a lot. That's a lot of wasted time. That's a lot of wasted money. It's a lot of wasted effort. And so if you can go into beekeeping with some understandings of the reality of what it's like to keep bees, then maybe you won't be one of those people that becomes one of the statistics of that very high percentage. So here are some reasons why you should maybe consider not going into beekeeping in 2025. Reason number 1, it costs a lot of money. There's really no cheap way to get into the hobby. I've looked at it upside down, one side and the other. You can save a little bit of money by buying used equipment, but you take some risks with that. You can hopefully find a swarm of bees to get you started, but sometimes swarms don't always make the best hives. So there are little ways you can cut corners, but here's the reality. It costs a lot of money. If you look on my YouTube channel, I review all the cost of keeping bees in a separate video, and you might want to look at that so you know what it costs. But there's going to be expenses. In addition to just the startup costs of buying a hive and buying bees, you're going to have costs throughout the year of buying medication, buying sugar for sugar water, and smoker fuel, and repaired equipment or expanded equipment, etc. So there's always going to be something for you to buy. Now, I'm a big encouragement. Stay away from the gimmicks. Keep it really simple. Stay with the basic tools. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that beekeeping is a cheap hobby. It's not. Reason number 2 why you should not go into beekeeping is if you're not really good at solving problems or you get overwhelmed by problems. Because beekeeping is part science and it's part art. You have to be able to make some decisions, and you're not going to always make the right ones. And if that kind of stresses you out and you don't really know what to do, and if you're one of those people that gets, what do they call it, paralysis by analysis, where you just watch 100 YouTube videos and read 100 books, but you don't actually make any decisions, then maybe beekeeping is not for you, because there's always problems. There's always things that you have to encounter, whether it's, all right, what do I do with my mite load? Are my bees going to swarm? Can I see that? How do I prevent my bees from absconding in the fall? Do my bees have enough food? What do I do about it? None of the problems are overwhelming, and none of the problems are void of solution, but you're going to have to be a problem solver in order to be successful in beekeeping to some degree. Now, there's a lot of people that are willing to help you, myself included, with your beekeeping journey, so don't feel at all like you're on your own when it comes to beekeeping. But there are going to be some problems, and you're going to have to be willing to take some action on them. One of the things that I find is overwhelming to beekeepers is just the amount of information, the learning curve. And so sometimes they do nothing because they don't know what to do, or they're afraid of making the wrong decision. But sometimes doing nothing is the wrong decision. And so I would encourage you, be a problem solver. This is Cheddar, and I'm speaking on behalf of my grandpa. He wanted to know whether or not you would please subscribe to his channel. Look at the camera. All right, I think you're done. Reason number 3 why you should not become a beekeeper: if you struggle with feeling dumb. Yeah, it's true. You know, the bees are going to do what the bees are going to do. Sometimes, despite all of our best effort, sometimes despite doing everything correctly or the way we think is correctly, there's going to be times where we're just like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that, or I made the wrong mistake, or I did this too much, or I did this too little, or whatever. And sometimes the bees just kind of keep us all humble. You know, it's the guy probably that tells you he knows everything about beekeeping that you probably need to stay away from. The guru, you know, the one who feels like he's got it all together. There's a lot of people that are willing to be a guide, but I think beekeeping has humbled a lot of people that have gone into it with kind of a Pollyanna, I got this, everybody else is dumb, I'm smart kind of a attitude toward it. And so I encourage you to not be that person. There's going to be some times where you just don't feel, like you can get this thing figured out. It's just part of the journey. Don't let it overwhelm you. Use it to grow and to be a better beekeeper. Reason number 4 why you should not become a beekeeper: it's going to take time. I think we have a view because we drive by these hives on the side of the road, etc., that, oh, these bees, they just take care of themselves. But there's a time investment, a regular time investment that you have to have in order to be successful in beekeeping. Now, you don't have to go in your hives like all the time, every day, even every week, but you have to regularly keep a pulse on things. You have to regularly be doing your mite checks. You have to be regularly checking your nutrition. You have to regularly be checking for a queen, etc. And during certain times of the year, it's going to require more checking and more time. And then there's time in research, and there's time in learning, and there's time in going to beekeeping meetings, etc. So don't become a beekeeper if your life is already full and you don't have any time and you never get to the bees. If you set them up there and you just say, well, good luck, because I just don't have any time, beekeeping may not be the right hobby for you. And reason number 5 why you should not become a beekeeper: if you're not okay with failing. Every beekeeper that's been keeping bees for a while has lost a hive. Abscond, swarm, a dead out, which is, where the bees just die inside of the hive or they freeze in the winter. Every beekeeper experiences this. It's part of the journey of beekeeping, is failing. And so if you think you can just kind of start your beekeeping journey and you're going to just work hard to not fail, like, failing is part of the journey. Like, I just want you to know that up front. I don't want you to be deceived and think, well, I'm just going to do this and hope I don't fail. But failing is part of it. And we learn from our failures. And you have to be able to pick yourself up, and you have to be able to move on from failures, from loss of hives. I talked with one beekeeper not too long ago, and he had several hives, and over the course of the winter, he lost every single one of them. I mean, that's so discouraging. You work so hard on your hives, and then they don't make it through the winter. And so failing is a part of the journey. And so if you can't handle failing, this may not be the right hobby for you. But if you can, and you're aware of that going into it, then maybe this is the right hobby for you. And then the last reason number 6, is you're going to get stung. I think I know one guy that's been keeping bees for a year, and he told me he has not been stung yet. I regularly get stung. I think I get stung probably an average of, when I'm in my hives, 4 to 5 times a week. But here's the thing about bee stings. As the season goes on, you build up an immunity to them, and they hurt less, they swell up less each time that you get stung throughout the season, to where now I'll get stung and it might hurt really crazy for, 2 or 3 minutes or something. And then by the time I'm done with my bees and take off my equipment and go back up into the house and tell my wife, she says, well, did you get stung today? And I tell her, yeah. And she says, where? And I'm like, I don't actually remember where I got stung. I think I got stung somewhere on the head and I can't find it, etc. So if you are just scared to death of being stung, it's part of the journey. Like, everybody's going to get stung. Yeah, you can wear a lot of equipment and probably avoid getting stung very much if you smoke properly and, find gentle bees, etc. But getting stung is part of the journey. Now, please don't misunderstand the heart of this video. I don't want you to be part of the statistic of 80% of beekeepers that are done after 2 or 3 years. I want you to be successful. I want you to enjoy the journey of beekeeping, the joy of learning, the joy of growing, and the joy of that beautiful, rich golden honey harvest in April or May or June or whenever it harvests in your area of the country. I want you to be successful. And frankly, I want you to become a beekeeper. But I don't want you to go into beekeeping without some sort of understanding that, yeah, it's going to be a rough road. Like, it's not easy. And if you're willing to embrace those challenges, then I encourage you, jump in and enjoy the journey of keeping bees this next year in 2025.